Vera Ephraim. Very good morning to you, Vera.
Good morning, Ethan. Thank you for having me.
Very, very powerful story that is. Tell us what inspired you to tell this story. It's a very prevalent scenario that plays out not just in our country, the rest of the continent, during or towards the end of what is now Women's Month. Yes,
it's actually quite a good thing, turned out, that it came out at this month. It wasn't actually planned, but I was inspired by a lot of things to do this story. First, it was just my struggle at that time when I was preparing the script, and also the fact that some traditions are being made in a way to oppress women, and not traditions. I believe that traditions should serve us, not us serving traditions. So, and also my grandmother went through that, actually, because that really reality is a story in the old centuries from my tribe in Igbo land, where they had to kill twins and they had to take them into the jungle and have the woman have the baby there and then let the children die there, because they believed that they just couldn't comprehend why a woman should have two babies at once. So I got inspired, and it stayed with me, this story, for ages. And then the right time came, and then I decided to put everything up together and make a story, short film out of it.
It sounds like you talk about your grandmother, very personal story.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about this belief. I think for the viewers it might be quite interesting to... Well, what are the fears that communities have with regards to twins?
Well, this doesn't happen anymore, but in those times when it was happening, it was a case of taking the pregnant woman into the jungle and have the woman have the baby there and leave the twins there to die. So, but during the missionaries in Igbo land in Nigeria, Mary Slessor came and a lot of things changed.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by, you know, that tradition should be as dynamic as human mind, you know? We see that this is not working for us, so let's begin to...
Yeah, absolutely. It's like everything in this universe, change is the only constant. We have to develop, we have to move on. I want to ask you about your own experience, your role, director, actress. Did it all in this movie, didn't you?
Well, I did. Not just me, honestly, because it was no-budget film, so I did have a lot of help. I had help from the NGO that I was working with, Lycée de la Batu Mabopani. They helped me with the manpower. I had friends, I had people raise money for me. And then, so 3-4 of us had to do like 4 or 5 rows. So, directing, I started directing in England, so it was also my debut for TV, for drama, to do a film as a director. And as an actress, of course, it was quite interesting for me to play it and direct at the same time.
Yes. What are your hopes? It's a very powerful story. What do you hope to achieve with this short film?
Well, it's a prequel to a feature. And then I hope that I will have investments and production companies who are interested in the story, who would come forward and try to produce it, or interested in it, and have a conversation how we can see this into a feature-full film and to an award-winning film, actually, because I do believe in the story.
And what kind of other projects are you involved with right now?
Well, I'm also a dancer, actress, choreographer, so I do a lot of outreach program called Giving Back with NGOs to less privileged children. I give back through the medium of dance. I encourage them, and I do a lot of work. I have a Western African dance class that I teach in Melville and in Pretoria as well, in Hatfield. So all of this ground work keep me busy while I do the big work.
Well, thank you, fantastic. Thank you for joining us, director
so much.
and actress of the short film. Vera Ephraim joined us this morning. The movie is called Umina. It tells the story of Umina Chinwike, who's a young African woman whose life suddenly changes after being banned out of a community for getting pregnant out of wedlock. She had twins. It's a really powerful story.